Hello, hello, love you to lifers. Welcome, welcome. We are here with another piece of hot fire for you and your girl because I hope that you're sharing it with your girls. I hope that you're not keeping all
I
the
hope
hot
they're
fire to
sharing it
yourself.
too.
I hope
Yeah,
you're
I hope they're
sharing
sharing it too.
these gems, this knowledge, because we're talking about a topic today. Let me take my glasses off. We're talking about a topic today that I think it's perfect for this time of year. I think it's perfect when you kind of getting a little bit like trying to make sure you are not unsettled. I think it's a great topic for people who are looking for like what's next or what
Mm.
what they want to be new or different. Today we're talking about why you should not let your dreams die.
Well, amen, somebody.
And here's what I want to say. We all spent a lot of time dreaming when we were kids, right? Like,
Right.
what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do? We daydreaming, we Pinterest board and we doing all the things. But it's a lot of us that's letting some dreams that are inside of us actually die. And it's time for us to stop doing it.
That's a very good intro there. Yeah.
And moreover, I want to be really clear where we standing on business. The kids say standing on business. Okay. That the dream that you have is from God.
Yeah.
And it's quite possible that you not going for your dream is
Yeah.
a sin.
Come on, don't call the people sinners. Be more gentle. Say it, make it nicer.
No.
hmm hmm Right. Pity pat. Pity pat. Like it's an option.
It's not optional. That
Right.
dream that you have is not optional. You got to take it back off the back burner and put it right front and center. And we about to talk to you about how to do it. Okay?
Yeah,
So
I
this
think it's
episode is
important.
all about that.
I think it's important that people know that sometimes they just kind of adapted to whatever the
Yeah.
situation was. Many of us are going to say it's a responsible thing to not go after their dream because they have kids now, or they're married now, or they taking care of their aging parents now, or they got these bills or whatever. And so many people are going to say, like, well, I just can't do it because it's an irresponsible thing to do. But I think it's really important to consider the ways in which you can. And
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be anything that's overnight. It can be in little bitty baby steps, but it needs to be done. When you bring up the part about like a God-given dream, I think that is super duper important that people who believe in God, and I think a lot of our listeners do because we're very honest about we believe, right?
Yeah.
And so I think for people who believe in God, you really have to be thinking about if God gave you something that he wanted you to use and you're not using it. I don't know. I don't know if that's where you want to find yourself. But the other thing I think about is like, hey, there have been times for each of us where we needed something from someone. And hopefully we got that thing that we needed, right? And that was only because that person did what they needed to do so that we could go to them and get it. And so I want to ask the audience as they're starting to listen to us today about this, who's waiting on you?
My God, my
Like who needs you to actually go after your dream and you're not doing it? Like
Mhm.
there's something to be said about like a teacher and a substitute teacher. The teacher, we know that there are some good subs out there, but we really want the teacher.
That
So
teacher.
there's some people who can step up and do something similar to what you do. But when it's given to you, you're supposed to be the one.
Period.
That's all I want to say.
She done with the episode, y'all. She done. But here's the thing. So I think that's really truthful, but I also think we need to talk about the real reasons why we delay a dream,
Okay.
right? Like why
Yeah.
we and I really could use myself a little bit on this because
Oh.
I started off when I went away my first time away to college, I went for psychology. And I always tell people I took such a scenic path to get back. I
Yeah.
mean, like, woo, 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 woo. Like people be like, when was you that? When did you do that? When did you do that? Because I kept like stair stepping
Yeah.
back towards the dream.
hmm
So I absolutely understand what can happen when life is life and you're just trying to make ends meet, take care of the family. Maybe you are, overcommitting to something that is a good thing, but not necessarily the God thing. Like all of that is going in there. Like, so Giving up on your dream is rarely like this decision of, I'm done now.
Yeah.
It is these small microwaves
Gradual.
that we say no. And you had sent me the other day a video of I think a med school student, like somebody, or maybe it was a law school student, somebody
Oh,
who's doing a graduate school.
yeah.
And she was like, I've been working for this for like the last 8 years. I have been taking classes at night and, holding down a job and taking out just enough student loans. And if this bill passes, I am like, my dreams for med school go out the window because I don't have the ability to pay $150,000 out of my own pocket. So for most of us, that wasn't what happened. It
Yeah.
wasn't that like
Yeah.
dramatic, but it was like, they offered me a promotion at work. Oh, pastor asked me to step up and take over the children's ministry. Oh, I'm just trying to keep up. The kids are so busy. Like, it's all these little ways that we let dreams die. But bottom line, God didn't kill it.
Mm. Stop it.
So if
Ooh,
he
gosh.
said, if he
Mm.
said it, he
Then
gave
it's
it to
still
me.
good.
It's still good. He
It's still
has, if he
good.
hasn't said no, what's that song? But what's her name? Michelle? Is it Michelle Williams? When Jesus
Yeah.
says, can't
When
nobody
Jesus
say
says
no.
yes, I think when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that back in my playlist. That was one of my jams. But here's the thing: it might feel like the dream is dead, but
Yeah.
chances are what the dream is buried.
Mm-hmm.
It's laying dormant.
Mm-hmm.
It might be a dry bone, but
Lord.
it's not gone. But sometimes, and you probably can speak to this too, like sometimes the dream evolves and it becomes a little bit of something different. And it can sometimes even be more. But the key here is that you're not supposed to let those dreams that have been given to you, those things that keep coming up that like almost like nag at you, that you get these little reminders, these little what feels like coincidences that we wouldn't necessarily call it a coincidence, but sometimes it's actually like an alignment, really, when that thing kind of pops in and you're like, oh yeah, I was just thinking about that. Or
Yeah.
it's funny you bring that up. It's funny you mention that. It's not a coincidence, right? This is where your dream and the opportunity are aligning themselves. Be ready for it to transition sometimes and evolve, but don't let it die. There's lots of reasons for it to be able to die, but that is not something that God wants for you.
Yeah, I definitely think that when we get busy, and again, as we take on more responsibility, sometimes we don't know how to make it fit. And in some cases, we age out of some things, right? So let's say that someone wants to be Miss America. Well,
Mhm.
Miss America has an age limit, but aren't there some Mrs. Americas and some
Mhm.
Miss Senior Citizen, whatever? Like, if you
Absolutely.
want to be a participant and some time has gone past you and there are some limitations that man has placed
Mm.
on what you're doing, then you have to find another way to do it. But here's why this is important. Over the last couple of weeks, we heard of the passing of this really nice person. And one of the things, my first thought when I heard about that was that she had so much that she didn't do.
Mhm.
So many things that I know she had personally shared with me that were important to her, that she wanted to do, that she was just waiting on the right time to do, and she never did them. And so
Right.
I'm just saying, do you want to be that person? Do you want to be the person who does not take advantage of the time that you have right here? And the first thing people think when it's your time is that you didn't do it. Instead
Mhm.
of, my gosh, she left it on the court. She left
Right.
it empty. That's why she gone, because she empty. She ain't got nothing else to do. And so I think we missed out on so many gifts because she couldn't figure out how to get all those things done, how to really be true to herself and let her dream live. And I think that many of us are probably in the same situation where we're like, hey, how do I make my dream fit into my life right now, the way my life is?
Right.
And most important thing you have to do, I think, is just to acknowledge that you want to be reacquainted with
Mhm.
your dream. It's just to acknowledge that you're about to go after the dream in some way. And again, you talked about the evolution, so maybe
Right.
it's evolved, but can you still go in that direction? That's a big thing, just to go in that direction.
Right. And I think the other thing, back to kind of your point was, it's one thing to let your dream die,
Mm-hmm.
but when you die with the dream,
Mm-hmm.
that's a different
Tragic.
type of pain. It's a
Tragic.
different type of experience. It's literally tragic. And I think about like when Daddy died.
Uh-huh.
I didn't like absolutely, I'm saying this is my daddy. I'm a daddy's
Right.
girl. But
Yes.
I don't feel like my daddy left me owing. He didn't owe nobody nothing.
No.
He didn't owe nobody nothing.
No.
It wasn't as if he necessarily, like, he wasn't a famous man.
Yeah.
He didn't have an invention with his name or anything.
Yeah.
But this man, every place his foot touched, he was giving it all. And I think when we don't do that, there's a restlessness inside of us, that unsettled feeling, that feeling of, what's wrong with me, or that lack of confidence that comes. So, like, so many times people are like, I wish I was confident like you, or I
Mm,
wish I had more confidence. And I'm like, sis, confidence comes from walking. Get them shoes on and get to stepping.
right.
You're not going to have confidence sitting still. If you have the dream, that means you have what you need to get started. You
Right.
might not have all the moving pieces of it, but you have to start taking some steps in the right direction. The Bible says you need to write the vision and make it plain. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really one of the first things. So the question I would ask for, the lifers is, what is the dream that you haven't written,
Yeah.
that you haven't made plain, that you haven't gotten clear about? It may need some renovations because, hey, you're a different age or a different stage or whatever, but what is the dream? Like, maybe you still want to own your own property, but now it's not a 5 bedroom, 4 bathroom. It's maybe a little bungalow,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Maybe you want a condo because you want all inclusive now. Like,
Yeah.
what is that dream today,
Yeah.
and how can you write it down and make it plain and reinvigorate your ability and your desire to have it? A lot of times I think we let these dreams die. It's really a trauma response.
Tell me more about that.
We have, when you have those hardships, like when you have those times where, like, people would say, I failed, like it didn't work out. And because it didn't work out, we just start playing smaller and smaller and
Mm-hmm.
smaller. And so now we don't have a dream. We just have, like, good enough. We talk about, like, we'll just tolerate whatever is. And I think there's a lot of people who do that. They just allow themselves to let their dream get chipped away at. And before you know it, you're so far off track of being on that dream. But the truth is, once you have acknowledged, like, hey, this is what I want, things really will start opening up in a different way. And you can start to almost like resurrect that dream right from the dead, bring it back to life as you get really clear about it. And it may be scary to do that because your brain is, like, your brain is telling you, like, well, the last time we tried this. I think about business owners with that, especially, like,
Oh yeah.
let's say you are you want to be a fitness coach, and you tried to offer somebody a fitness special and nobody bought it. Your dream is still to be a fitness coach, but
Right.
because nobody bought it, now you're afraid to even talk about anything. It's like that's not what we want you to do. We want you to acknowledge, like, yeah, that was hard. You might be scared, but God gave you the dream for a reason.
And when I'm thinking about the restlessness, excuse me, one of the things I don't remember when I heard this analogy. I've adapted it and made it my own now. But when I'm talking to people about restlessness that they're feeling, and anxiety, really in many cases that they're feeling, I use this example of a GPS. And when you're on your GPS, when you're on the blue line, which is your route, your best route to your destination, it's a very light and easy thing. It goes in 200 feet, turn left. In 60 yards, turn right. The destination is on your left hand side. It's a very light and easy thing. But when you get off of your blue line, when you're no longer on your route, on your journey to your destination, it goes rerouting. So some of us are walking around in a perpetual state of rerouting. We feel unsettled and we think it's everybody else's problem. We think that there's something else going on in the world, when the truth is we're off of our blue line. We had a destination. We had a place that we were supposed to go. We have a legacy that we're supposed to leave, and we got off the blue line for whatever reason. Now, here's the good news. You can get back on the blue line.
Period.
And when you get back on the blue line, then everything is light and easy again. Now, that doesn't mean you might not encounter a detour, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to, ever go through anything. But I think what we're talking about is, can you have a more fulfilling way of living when you're on your blue line? And that's something that I think a lot of folks have really forgotten. My business almost didn't start because the desire to be an entrepreneur was in me for so long, and I had tried so many different things before it was time to be a therapist. So when
Tell
I
them what you tried. Tell them what you tried. Go ahead, tell them. Tell them what you tried.
this is not okay.
No,
I
because
don't think
here's what I'm telling you to do this. because
Oh,
people will look at you and be like, "Oh my God, she balling, she's doing it." And they do not know what was in the garage that didn't quite pan out. So I think you should tell them what you tried.
first of all, let me go back. When I was in high school, I really liked the guidance counselor role. But I didn't really know how to be a guidance counselor. Like, I didn't really know that that was a thing. Everybody was doing like business management. Maybe somebody gonna be in law school. Maybe somebody gonna be a teacher or something. But I didn't really know the route to dealing with people's emotional health and their mental health. I didn't know that. So it wasn't something I looked into. And I didn't know anybody who made money doing that. So I will say that originally I think I had a heart towards therapy and counseling and coaching from when I was, in high school. Okay, so then fast forward to me working in corporate spaces and places, and I'm always talking to people about their problems. People are always stopping by my cube. I'm getting in trouble. I'm talking too much. Like, people are coming by to talk because once they talk, they feel better. Once they get my ability to help them clarify what's going on and we make a strategy. I mean, I'm giving folks strategies while I'm in the cubicle. And so I needed to, when I realized I needed to be a therapist, I was like, okay, we're just going to go be a therapist. But in the middle of that whole journey of working for corporations, I did like gift baskets because I was very handy with making gift baskets and assembling them. People loved them. And so I started a gift basket business selling gift baskets. I was doing wedding invitations. I did a couple, even like, like small businesses, like something like not like MLM, but like other small businesses. So I really, by the time I became a therapist, I'm just like, let me just go to private practice with somebody. Let me go work with someone because I didn't think I had the ability to be an entrepreneur because so many of those other things have failed. So I'm like, I'm just going to get a job again, but it is going to be a job that's more aligned with where I should be in life. And as it was time to start paying deposit, like when I was playing around with the idea again of starting this business and having a brick and mortar business, which a brick and mortar business equals bills.
Big bills.
You got to pay rent. You got to have insurance.
They want to buy your lease.
I mean, not only that, but your leaser might require extra insurance. Like it is money. So is this getting time to start to, I played around with the idea like, okay, maybe I possibly could do this again, but this time have a brick and mortar business and have a therapy practice. I got super scared. I was very scared because I did not have
Not you. Not loving life with Liz was scared.
And let's pause there. I had a client one time who said to me, I'm sure you've never been depressed a day in your life. And I was like, what? You don't think I've ever had a depressed day, a depressed moment, a sad spell, an anxious outcome? You don't think that's ever happened to me? Why would you think that? Who
Wow,
told
why
you
would
that?
you think that?
That don't make sense. I am human. The people that we think are quote unquote ahead of us are only ahead of us because they take action that we won't take. That's the only reason why. Because I do stuff when I'm scared to do it. I do stuff before I feel ready to do it. I do stuff even though it's unpopular. I do stuff even though somebody might have something to say about it. That's the only reason why I'm out here doing what I do. So I don't really feel special in that regard. I feel like if you do the same thing I'm doing, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to get where you want to go. So the only reason why people are ahead of us in any way is because they're willing to do the hard stuff. They're willing to do the things. They're going to take action. So here we are. It's time to pay deposits, and I'm really afraid. And I felt like God told me, like, go again. This is not that time. This is a different time. And one of the things to know too is that I think I did learn from the previous failures. And so I had a better idea of a plan so that this could be successful. And I started in 2011, it's 2025. And not only was I, at that time, I was just me, my one little person. And I've now employed and had payroll every 2 weeks for up to 15, 18 people.
My God, my God.
Okay, my God. So I just say that to say, like, your brain is going to try to protect you. Your amygdala is there to do that. So anytime you're doing something that's uncomfortable, where you're stepping out of your comfort zone, expect to get that little
A little twinge.
that little and that's okay. You just want to go back and say, you know what, have I covered my bases to the best of my ability? Do I think I've gotten enough information? Am I really taking the right action? Have I surrounded myself with enough of the right support people to help me get this done? And then go ahead and do it, because everybody who's probably done anything, like people who have been successful in other things, had to have been scared before. Because I think that being scared is a part of it. Anytime you step out of your comfort zone, you are going to be scared. It's called the fear zone. Remember we taught on that? We taught on the comfort zone.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure.
And when we were doing Lovey Life Club, we taught on the comfort zone, and we had to cover the fear zone, because the only way to really get out of your comfort zone is to go through the fear zone to get to the growth zone.
It's coming back to me. It's coming back. It's coming back.
Everybody's getting stuck in the comfort zone and in the fear zone, so they don't get to the growth zone. And that's why dreams die, because we are not willing to take the action that's going to make us temporarily uncomfortable so that we can actually position ourselves to have perpetual pleasure.
Right.
Like, I have never regretted starting my business. I have never regretted that. Have you ever heard me say I'm going back and get a job?
I mean, no, I don't think I've ever heard you say that.
Right. And that's not to say that getting a job is a bad thing. That's just not my journey for this season of my life.
Right.
But that's not what I've never regretted that. So I think we have to own up to the fact that sometimes we're just afraid and we let our dreams die because we're scared. And it really doesn't mean that we can't do it or that it's not for us anymore. It just means that we're not willing to take action.
That was her, y'all. I thought that was mean, but you know.
What?
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm gonna say it a little nicer. I'm gonna say it
What
a
are you
little.
gonna say? You talking about me saying take action?
She gave you so she's supposed to be the sweet one. I'm supposed to be the sassy one. She
We're
gave
not
me
doing good, but we're not doing good cop bad cop. I don't even know what that means. We're not even. What is this?
I'm gonna get so she gave you the sassy one. So
This bad boys?
But
No.
here's the thing. You are focused when people are afraid to take action on their dream. They are focused on what they don't have.
Yeah.
They're always focused on, well, I don't know how to do this. I don't have enough money. Nobody in my family has ever started a business. I don't have enough time. My boss not, like all these different things. You're focused on everything that can go wrong. You're focused on everything that you don't have, but you're not like, I do remember one of the times, and I don't remember what lesson we were teaching in Love You Life Club, but we talked about pull your resume, sis.
Period.
Pull your resume.
Period.
Pull that resume and
Fire
update that sucker. And look at all the things that you have done. You are sitting up here acting like you do not have, like maybe you don't have this particular skill or that particular skill, but you are freaking resourceful. And you have overcome so many different obstacles. You have made so many different moves. You are the go-to girl in your industry, in your department, in your the things that you've already done. And yet on this thing you scared. On this thing you think like, okay, so God has brought me through this and this and this, but now He's gonna leave you here.
I mean, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. But the issue is we don't focus our attention on that.
Right.
We focus our attention on the things that didn't work. And we always say, take the lessons from your losses. If you had a loss, there was a lesson there for you. So technically it's not really a loss because you learned something. But if it feels like a loss, what is it teaching you? Maybe it's teaching you that you need to be more strategic with your time. Maybe it's teaching you that you need to align with a mentor or a coach or somebody who can go before you. I think that's one of the things, like, because you have a dream, don't think that means that like it won't involve other people.
Right.
Like sometimes you have a dream and somebody's going to have to sow into your dream in order for it to bloom. But if you haven't taken that step, they don't have nothing to sow into. So yes, as you take those steps, like I think we both have gone through the Goldman Sachs program, like all these opportunities, like you meet this person and this person and this person, and like, man, like all these doors are opening, all these opportunities are opening. I didn't realize, this move that I made over here was going to open me up for this contract over there. It's because you say yes to the dream.
The other thing you mentioned there was steps. And I think sometimes it's hard to become reacquainted with the dream because we want to skip steps. And that doesn't mean that things can't be accomplished quickly sometimes. But I think when we're talking about let me go back. I think one of the areas where we're missing it is that we don't do our mental preparation for challenge. So there are times when you know that something's going to be challenging for you. Let's say your dream is going to be something that is really uncommon and people don't really understand it. And so your family, your friends, they got a whole lot to say about it. So that's going to be a challenge for you is maybe navigating your emotional response to what's being said around you. And so we have to do our mental work to prepare to get through those things. It's like the New Year's resolutions. When people go and make New Year's resolutions, I'm like, you're setting yourself up for failure because you are not ready to cold turkey just make these changes on a dime in a day. But what you can do is you can baby step your way and create some different habits so that you then position yourself to be more successful toward that goal. So if you're going to be the person who says, well, I want to be drinking a gallon of water, please don't try that tomorrow.
Please don't, because you'll be in the bathroom all day. Please don't.
And not only that, but you ain't been drinking that piece of water. You haven't been drinking water. So why are you
Really
changing
like
a
water.
gallon of water tomorrow? But what you could do is you can have a goal that you're going to make sure you get 16 ounces every single day. You're going to get one good solid water bottle every single day until such a time that you can take that 16 ounces and grow it to 23 ounces or 35 ounces or whatever. And that is a baby step in the direction of you actually getting in more water. But what we do instead is starting tomorrow, I'm doing it all the way different. And you think your brain is going to support you in that? It's not. So sometimes we haven't been successful in our goals because we won't, and in our dreams because we won't take the steps to set ourselves up for success in those areas. Sometimes you got to do baby steps.
Yeah, and let's give some more examples about like different steps, because I think we think about like drinking more water, losing weight, or whatever. It seems like that's a little easier, but maybe it's something big like I want to go back to college, right? Like maybe you're thinking like, hey, I want this advanced degree. I know some people that are interested in, like, say for example, a graduate degree. That's going to require them to maybe do an internship or something. Like, I can't not work. How am I going to go? Whatever. So when you're starting there, sometimes you do need to do the research, right? Like finding out different ways of doing stuff. But you don't want to be so far into the research that you're not actually taking any action. So make a point to have a conversation with an actual person, right? When I was getting ready to go to grad school, I remember running out of money. Like, I had taken all the classes I could take based upon my degree, and I needed to finish. I think I needed 6 credits, right? But I had already been accepted to grad school.
Right.
So I've been accepted to grad school.
You're supposed to be there.
So I knew I could go, but I had to finish this first. And they're like, oh, you have no financial aid left. Okay. So, and as God is my witness, if I could find this person today, it would be so amazing. But I made probably 20 or 30 phone calls. I called every department. I asked every secretary, every regional. Like, I'm just like, I need these credits. I need these credits. I don't know what to do. I'm looking for this money. Is there any scholarship? And I came across one person who said, well, looking at your transcript, if you did a CLEP exam for XYZ, you could probably just, switch to general studies and you'd have enough credits to graduate.
Be done.
Out of the class without coming up with $4,000? How much is the CLEP exam? Oh, $250. Let the record show at that particular time,
$250 might have still been a lot.
could have been $5,000, right? $250 wasn't like a little bit of money to me at that point, but it was a baby step. So it was a baby step towards the goal. So took the test, failed it.
No, you didn't. You
I
failed.
did. I failed the first time.
I don't remember this. No.
I missed it by like 2 or 3 points. Now, keep in mind, I have now scraped together this money to take this test. I have now failed said test. So on one hand, I have an acceptance to graduate school. On the other hand, I am not a graduate of undergraduate school. So then I was like, okay, that could have been a dead dream.
Yeah.
But it was not. So I doubled back down, scraped together another $250. And that second time I did pass, obviously, and got on to graduate school. But the point is, I wouldn't have figured out any of that had I not humbled myself enough to take the first step and to ask some questions. I know a lot of people who sitting 6 credits away from a degree.
Right. And they will not go back and talk and figure out what they need to do.
For the dream job. That was one of the things that came up all the time in the Love You to Life Club, is people were like, I've been wanting this certification. I've been wanting to get this. And I'm like, go get it.
Get it.
What? And they would, like during the club, that was one of those great things that would happen. Like, oh, I passed my, what was it, the PMP test or whatever that certification is for project management. You go, girl. I didn't know that was a certification, but you go, you do it. But so many times, because it doesn't look the way we thought it would look,
right,
we second guess it, or we kind of pull back off of it. But if that is your dream, you got to take that step. It's a convoluted thing. I didn't plan on having an undergraduate degree in general studies, but that's what worked for the mishmash of credits that I happened to have at that time. But it got me to the next step, which was the graduate degree. So if you are sitting in a place right now and you're saying, like, I don't know what that next step is, the next step is to ask some questions, to talk to somebody, to do some research. And a lot of times it won't be the first person. It might be the second person or the third person. I don't know how this, again, I don't know this person. I don't even know what department she was in to be able to tell me that. But that information is literally how I ended up here today. Because with that, I would have got it.
The other thing about your story that I don't know if you're paying attention to is that you were not tied to the middle. You were tied to the end, right? So the end was, hey, this graduate program is going to lead me to the career that I know I'm supposed to be in.
Right.
The middle, however, was the bachelor's degree and whatever major there was. So had you been tied to the middle of that,
Right.
then you might not have been willing to change the major so that you could go ahead and graduate and go to the graduate program. Now, I'm
Period.
sure there are some people listening who are going to be like, no, it's got to look like this. It got to be this one thing. It got to go this particular way. And if it doesn't, then they let it go altogether. Well,
Right.
you don't want to be tied to the middle. You want to be tied to the completion, to the end
Right.
of the thing, not the middle of the thing. And that kind of reminds me of like my journey with motherhood. I did not intend on being a mom at this age of a newborn. That was not my original plan. And there are a lot of women who are letting go of a dream of being married or a dream of becoming a mom because they've reached a certain age. Guess what? The only person standing in between you and your dream is you. And that's it. So yes, it looks a little different than I thought, but I've done the work to be able to find the benefit of the season that I'm in for the life that I had.
Right.
And that's the way it goes. And so it would behoove me to say at this point, I have to say this. Don't let anybody else talk you out of your dream.
We didn't even go there. We hadn't even talked about that.
Talk about it. We got a couple minutes left. Can we talk about it? Don't let nobody else talk you out of your dream. I cannot tell you how many times somebody has come to me and they're like, Liz, I really still want to have a baby, but everybody's talking about they wouldn't have a baby at 43. They wouldn't have a baby at 40. They wouldn't get married at 38. They would only do blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you something. Don't let somebody else talk you out of your dream. Number one, because your destiny and purpose may not be theirs.
Period.
So you got to run your own race. You got to run your own journey. And number two, I love this, and I'm about to stand flat-footed on it, standing on business. You said standing on business earlier, so let me just go ahead and stand on business right now.
I'm grabbing my edges.
Let me clear my throat. Me. Ready?
Ready.
Just because you can't do something don't mean I can't. Just because it don't work for you don't mean it can't work for me. Just because you can't do something doesn't mean I can't do it. I have developed the confidence because of taking action that I believe I can do whatever I need to do. And not only that, if I believe God told me I'm supposed to do whatever it is, if I believe that He's behind me on whatever I'm doing, don't worry about it, baby.
Period.
Don't worry about it. You do you. You do you. But I'm telling you right now, just because you can't do something doesn't mean I can't do something. And I think that a lot of us don't want to hear the chatter from the peanut gallery.
Right.
We don't want to hear somebody say, well, why would you buy a house at this age? You're so close to retirement. Why wouldn't you just get an apartment? I mean, if you want a house, sis, go get the house. Well, you've been single this long. Why would you want to get married now? Sis, if you don't want to be single anymore, go ahead. Likewise, I might step on a toe here as a therapist.
Golly, she's just coming so harsh today, y'all.
I just want to say this. Sis, if you need to get the divorce, get the divorce. Bruh, because I've talked to many, if you need to get the divorce, get the divorce. Am I a divorce advocate, a proponent? No, I have spent a whole career helping people hopefully stay married. And I'm still married. I'm very proud to be a married person. Here's the thing, however, some of y'all know y'all with the wrong person. Ain't nothing gonna change. You're gonna sit right there and let your dream die with that person because you've been married so long that you don't want to make any changes. Some of y'all need to go ahead and get y'all divorced. I don't know who it is. Some of y'all do. In the same way, I believe that time is not ticked so much that you can't get married if that's your dream. The same thing, if you know that this marriage is not healthy, it's not fulfilling, it's not wholesome, it's not helping you, like, hey, you might have to get your divorce. And you probably can speak to that more than I can.
And here's the thing, I can speak to this.
Lord have mercy.
Who got divorced after 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Like at a certain people, I used to make this joke, but you know, it was like maybe it was In Love and Color Skit or something. They're like, and we still together. It would be like, it was like a husband and a wife, and they was like, so
but they hated each other,
right? And at the end, every time they say, and we still together. And so I used to make that joke during my marriage. Like it was like something that was kind of like funny because we, watched it. But the truth of the matter is when you're anticipating a dream that no longer aligns with your previous choices, you reach this stage where you have to decide, am I asking God to give me my dream in this set of circumstances,
Mhm.
or am I going to allow God to give me the best dream in whatever circumstances there are? It would not, like, if the struggle that I would have had, like the struggle that I had during my marriage, to think that life would be this much easier on the other side of it, you couldn't have convinced me that. Like, I think there's a lot of women who think like, well, this is so hard. Going for that other thing that I really want would be so much harder.
Hmm.
But sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not.
Because the holding on to the not dream is basically like you got to let that go so that you could actually take hold of the dream. So it isn't actually harder. It's not necessarily always easy, but the ease I feel on this side is just a different type of activity. So a lot of people are afraid that if they're struggling, right? Like, I'm struggling and I'm married, I'm having a hard time and I'm married, or, I'm looking at this person's story and they don't seem to have that great of a marriage. Maybe I'll be better off single, or whatever the case may be. Don't anticipate that anybody else's story will be your story, because
Right.
your dream is the one God created for you. And I think it's important to remember that God doesn't give you a dream to like dangle something in front of your face. Like, He's
Mm.
not giving you something. Like, if you have that desire, I mean, as long as it's in alignment with His word. I'm like, God
Right.
didn't tell you to get nobody else's husband, okay?
Right.
But like, as
Right.
long as it's in alignment with His word, like, He doesn't give you a dream because He doesn't want you to have it. He
Mm.
doesn't give you a dream because it's not possible. He doesn't give you a dream because he just wants you to see what somebody else is allowed to have. That thing that you feel that says like, oh, this could be so great. You just have to be confident enough and have the faith and add with it the works
Mhm.
that allow you to get on the other side of that. And so sometimes people ask me like, am I going to get remarried? I'm like, I don't know, maybe, but I'm not looking right now. But I'm not in a position where I'm willing to say like, oh, I'm going to wash off the idea of marriage altogether, because that's, because this part didn't work out. But part of that is understanding that like, this is the season and this season is working for me and I'm good with that. So for women who are feeling like they have to choose their marriage or their dream,
Mm.
that shouldn't be a choice that you have to make. Like,
Mhm.
if God wants you to have that dream, He's not going to also want you to be in a marriage that makes that almost impossible,
Right.
right? If He wants you to have the dream and the marriage, it's possible, and He's
Right.
gonna make that way. But if you're saying like these two things don't go together, one of these things is not like the other, then it's time for you to make that decision. And I don't care what your church says.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Now who's being the bad cop?
I don't care what dear future wifey said. I don't care what they.
Oh, she done brought up dear future wife. Oh, not dear future wifey. Where the pastor
I
was
look,
on
what's
there
his name?
demeaning his
Latarius. I
wife.
like Latarius. I do. But the people he be putting on there, he's making dreams die right from his couch.
No, I have to be fair. I have not seen a whole episode of that show. I have
I
only seen
have.
clips of it. I have not seen a whole episode. All I know is everybody was talking about that pastor who was talking real rough to his wife, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I was just like, wow, that's what we doing in these
It
streets?
wasn't a
Okay.
dream. It was a nightmare. But here's the thing. I think he started the podcast because he had made some missteps in his previous marriage, got divorced, what have you. And so
Okay.
this was supposed, like, the premise of the podcast was him having these really thought-provoking conversations about relationships and past failures and all these different things. And I think what it is, in some instances, the people that he has on there as couples do not represent the dream. I think he needs to just be a little bit more careful, because I have watched a lot of his episodes, and a lot of his episodes, I'm like, this is not a dream.
This is a night.
This is giving Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, and here's the other thing, like there are some people who are going to go through significant challenges in their marriages and they're going to come out on
Yeah.
the other side of it and still have good marriages. There are other people who are in abusive relationships emotionally and that thing ain't going to never change, and you need to know that you might have to go. And let me also add this other thing. That's for the forever daters too. Those of y'all been with y'all little boo boo for 10 years and 12 years and all that kind of stuff. But I don't want to start back over. But we've been together for this long. But da da da. Nope.
But his mom love me.
That's a tough one. That's really a tough one. But I
I
don't
love
care.
his mom.
I know. That's a tough one. Mommy might not love you when you leave her son. And mommy might not love you if you know you're not gonna be with the daughter. I understand that, but hey, it happens. It's real. And I have seen too many people. I used to be the person like never say die, never ever, never let it go. That used to be me. Until I saw folks just by killing themselves to stay married to people who would step over them if they was dead on the ground. Just wasn't that it just wasn't that anymore. It just wasn't that anymore. So
I think what you're really talking about is the difference between letting God renovate your dream
right.
and settling for what was not the dream. Right.
Mhm.
So sometimes in those instances, especially whether it's a marriage or not a marriage, where it's a relationship that, like if you really want to be a wife and this person has made it very clear that he don't want to be a husband,
Period.
then you have to decide, are you settling in
Mhm.
this relationship
Mhm.
or are you renovating the dream? I'm not here to tell nobody that they have to be married, and maybe you have a happy relationship and you're not married, but I'm just saying, like, you get to decide that. And unfortunately, I think a lot of times what is happening is people are not being honest about that. And so what they're doing is they're settling and they're slowly letting this dream die day by day, week by week, month by month. Every birthday that they think they get the ring, they didn't.
Oh boy.
And the dream is slowly dying. Then, and I hate to bring up celebrities, but
What?
you probably don't know this because you don't really keep up with pop culture like this, but you know who K Michelle is?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know
He
she
was
dated
in the
Idris Elba?
Bible.
Yeah.
Right.
So he was like swear up and down he wasn't getting married. They had
They
this
got married right
relationship
behind her.
and he got married right behind their relationship.
He
And
did.
I don't think he has to this day claimed her publicly that they dated, which
Really?
I think is
Okay.
really sad.
Yeah.
But he was like, oh, yeah, I think he kind of made it seem like his brand needed him to be single because he was like the sex symbol or what have you. And so I think she settled for that relationship because she said he treated me so well.
I'm glad he did that.
But it wasn't what she wanted. I think she wanted the ring.
Got it.
And he was like not willing to get married. He met right up with that wife of his, and they was married
And
just as
appear to be
fast as
still
that.
married, right? They appear to be still
And
married,
they
don't they?
still married. Now I don't know what their marriage is like, and I'm not here to talk about that. But the point is, don't settle your dreams for some external factor, whether that is somebody who's not willing to give you what you thought, like they were going to give you, or somebody who's telling you too old to have what that case is. Like, if that is your dream, go for your dream. I would rather die in pursuit of my dream than sit on the sidelines and never go for it and be wondering what if. I
Right.
wonder if I could. I
Mhm.
think I would rather die knowing I tried and
Mhm.
maybe I'm gonna get it in my heavenly reward than waiting for it, because there is that benefit on the journey, right? Like
Yeah.
there's that benefit on the journey.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, even when you haven't accomplished the dream, if you are getting steps towards it, there's still probably some level of fulfillment there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know for some people, like, they've gone after the dream so many times that they feel like they can't go again. But I just want to encourage that person, like, get the strategy for your dream. Whatever you want to accomplish, see if there's another strategy that you could go towards so that you can get closer to what you're trying to get to go again. And if it's time to let a dream go, then legitimately let it go. Like, let that be the decision that I have decided
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly. I've decided this is just not what I'm going to do anymore. I'm moving on. That's really okay too. But many of us are saying that we moved on and we really haven't. Like, in our heart of hearts, we really do still want the thing in some kind of way. And if that's the case, I think you need to go get it. And we've used examples of, like, weight loss on this podcast today. We've used relationship, we've used house, we've used career, but I'm talking about whatever your dream is. Like, we can't
Ever.
possibly name all the dreams. I think we've mentioned having kids. Like, we can't possibly name all the dreams. Whatever your dream is, how big, how small, whatever it is, if it's yours, go get your stuff. Just please go get your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Go get your stuff.
What the song say? Go get it. Go
Go
get
get
your
it.
blessing.
Yeah. Can we say that on the podcast?
I mean, we're not playing it, so I think we can get away with it.
That's by Mary Mary. I don't know. That's by Mary Mary. We do not own the rights to that song that she just tried to sing. Hey,
Oh, y'all know we love y'all. We know we love
Mary
y'all.
Mary, if y'all hear this, we want y'all to know we appreciate that song. K Michelle, if you hear this, hey, God bless you. Come on the show and talk to us about
And
relationships
she's
if
a
you
country
like.
singer now. I think she's living her best life.
Okay, great. I
I
don't know.
think she wanted to go for country. I think that was her dream. I didn't know she was a yodeler. I heard that was a yodeler, and now she's
Oh,
doing a country album. So I
okay.
think she's still living her dream. And I think that's a good point too, because when he moved on to whatever his dream was, she
moved on
had to reevaluate what her dream was. And I think she went through a little bit of a rough patch,
Mhm.
but I think she's came out on the other side. And you know that That's probably a good point too. Is that in those moments where a dream is deferred, it doesn't mean it's denied.
Right.
And when it needs, when it needs to change, it can become even something better. But
Yeah.
the crux of it is you don't want to let your dreams die
Right.
with you. Like you want to make sure that you have given life and light to everything that you are dreaming of having, because that is what God put us here for. He didn't put us here to just pay bills and die.
No, he didn't. And
He
remember that the Bible says, if you believe the Bible says he's the author and the finisher. So the thing that is important to you is also important to God. And
Absolutely.
really, he drops those little things in us because he's equipped us to actually go and do them and to get them and to have them. And so if he can give us the beginning, I know he can give us the end.
Absolutely. All right. So, y'all, do not let your dreams die. And if you have, this has awakened something inside of you, we would love a DM on
Yes, I would
Instagram
love
or
that.
LinkedIn, or drop a comment. Let us know about a dream that you are putting some light on, put a little sunlight on, a little fertilizer on right now. And make some time this week. Just
Mm.
make some time to sit in some silence and ask God, what dream have I buried? What dream have I let go of? If you're not sure, you're saying like, I don't know what my dream is, because we didn't even really get into that. But sometimes you can just be so up under it. You're like, what do I have a dream? If that is your situation, give God an opportunity to remind you of your dream, that dream that he had planted for you, that he gave you, that maybe you have kind of let go of or allowed to get dry, and allow him to renovate that for you, and wake it up for you. And you might not get an immediate answer, but I promise you, he will never not answer. I promise you, he will never not answer. So we love y'all, and we want you to always live your dreams. We'll be back in another couple of weeks with another episode for you. Make sure that you are following us on our socials, and make sure that you are following the podcast. We cannot wait to see you again. And as always, we love y'all to life.
We love you to life. Bye.